Hey everyone, I have made a few updates to my mega planner, so I thought I would go through those with you today. I will link the original video below where I talked about this, and I feel like I haven't really talked much about this since then. It's been like 8 months or so, I think. And it's mostly just because I've been really content with it and have not found the need to change anything until now. So we'll go through those. In the past, like earlier this year, I actually did use this as my main planner just to keep track of my schedule. And then things got a little bit chaotic. We had some changes to our daily lives, and I found that I needed something more portable. And I was already carrying a Hobonichi Weeks in my purse, mainly as a meal planner, grocery list type of thing. And since I had it, I decided to utilize this as my main planner because I could take it out with me, and it gave me more room than the insert that I had made for in here. So because of that, it changed some of the things a little bit in here. And the first thing is the tabs. So I redid my tabs because I initially had them glued to Post-it notes or Post-it tabs, which I love and I still use them. But for some reason, once I glued these to the sticky part of a Post-it tab, their integrity was not as good, and these would constantly fall off for some reason. I think I just didn't do it right. So I put fresh tabs in here and I glued them down permanently with my Tombow tape runner. And I still have 4 sections, except this front one is called Notes now, where it used to be Planner. And then I still have YouTube, I still have a homeschooling section, and then the last one is medical. So in the front here, I did have an insert that I labeled Inbox, and it was just a plain dot grid Tomoe River paper insert. And I found that I was not using it. It was actually not as helpful as I anticipated it to be. And in the 8 months that I've had this set up, I think I only used 2 or 3 pages. So I went ahead and got rid of that because it was just taking up space. And I will repurpose that notebook for something else in the future, probably a journal, because I can really move through those fast. So what I ended up putting here in the front instead is this plastic card holder. This is Traveler's Company brand. I will link these things below. Just have an Oli clip right here. So what I'm doing is I'm actually filling this with some photos. I thought it would be really nice to open this up and just see some photos that I really love. So that's a purely decorative sort of thing. And I don't feel any pressure to fill this all out right away. I figured throughout the year and over time, I will slowly add things to this, and I'm good with that. The first section that I have is now my notes section, and everything in here is still the same as before. I do have this insert that says planner, and what I did with this is I put in monthly spreads. So the front of this are all monthly spreads for 2020, and then the remainder of the book is blank paper. This is a Paper Penguin Co. dot grid Tomoe River paper insert, and I kept it empty pages in the back without any structure because I really only need a monthly spread to keep all of my appointments organized. And I wanted to have the blank pages back here to take notes when I'm on phone calls and I need to jot down all the details of things. I like to keep it all in one place because then it makes for really easy reference. So for the remainder of this, I'm just going to continue to use it that way. It'll be a reference book for all the important notes that I take. This is an A6 Hobonichi booklet. It's just the blank gridded booklet. I still have this in here, and I take random notes like when you guys suggested fountain pens and inks, I wrote them all in here. And I have kind of a wish list. Sometimes I keep up with it in here. And this is just a nice, really thin, tiny booklet to have, so it stays in there. And then of course the paper folder that I made, and I keep some important business cards and things in there. So that's the same. My YouTube calendar, I always keep a monthly insert. It's just a monthly. And I found that this is the best way that I like keeping track of my YouTube schedule. I don't really have a schedule. What I typically do is I will take a sticky note and write down a video idea. And I'll put it down tentatively on the day that I think I'm going to post it. And then once I actually film and post a video, I will take off the sticky tab, throw it away, and actually write in pen on here. And then it just becomes an archive of when I filmed and posted something. So it's very simple. And this insert is a Traveler's Company insert. I recently filled up the last one that I was in. And so this is my new one that I've just put in here, nice and fresh, and put my scrapbook paper on it and everything. And then this is the same. It's just a blank insert, and this is where I just write down random notes about video ideas and stuff like that. So that remains the same. So that's my YouTube setup. And then this I showed in a video where I talked about the GU planner from Baumkuchen and how I ended up not using that. I ended up making this insert, and I have a little bit of a flip through in that video if you're interested, but I just track our homeschooling days. I have a separate planner as far as the schedule we're trying to follow and the things we're trying to accomplish in a separate binder that kind of goes with the curriculum that we're using. This insert here is for me to actually write down the things we did do. So I will archive these by academic year, and this should actually take me all through the academic year until June of 2021. So I'm continuing to use this. This is actually the Kanso Sasshi Tomoe River paper insert from Jet Pens, yes. And I'm really, really loving it. It has like 120 pages, so it really works out for what I'm wanting. I don't have to start a new notebook like midway through the year or like 3/4 through the year, so I really like that. This is the folder. It's the same folder from before that I have for this. I keep our Homeschooling Association membership cards here, and then I have some laminated copies of the laws for homeschooling in our state here for just easy reference. I have a blank notebook back here for just writing down random ideas, a scratchbook. I just come in here when I need scratch paper while we're homeschooling, or even just to demonstrate something for my kids if we're doing math, you know, stuff like that. This last section is the medical section. So this is pretty much the same. I have the same notebook in here, and I have a member of my family that has some medical, like extra medical requirements. And so I need to track doctor's visits and things like that. So anytime we have a doctor's visit or phone call, I will write it in here as a log. It serves as a really great reference book and tracker for when things happened and when decisions were made. I used to have the A6 Hobonichi weekly supplement tucked in here, and I would track medicine dosages when I would administer it. And we have since reached a really good therapeutic dose, and so we're kind of on a permanent type of schedule. And I basically graduated out of needing to track the dosage every single time. So I've removed that, and that's no longer here, and I'm pretty happy about that. This is like extra papers, backup prescriptions and things like that, and some other like reference materials. So this whole section is kind of still the same. I've just removed the tracking part of that. And that's everything. So not too much. Mostly when I'm kind of done with something, I just add something in to replace it. And then the planner really is the only thing that changed, but you know, I still am using the same insert to write down my notes. And I am planning to continue this exact setup into 2021. I've really come to depend on this a lot. I actually use this mostly for homeschooling. That is when I tend to pull this out. You know, I use this daily, and it is because of the homeschooling insert. I do love having everything all in one so that I'm not trying to juggle a bunch of separate setups at the same time. Just kind of everything I need is here, and then anything else as far as like scheduling and needing to know where I have to be and what time I have to be there is all in here. And I would say I keep it simple, but I realize there's a lot of stuff in this, but I guess it's simple in that it's only in one setup and I don't have to remember a bunch of separate things. So I have this edition. I usually keep a pencil pouch with this setup, and I got a new Lindock pouch. I actually got two because she had some florals available, and this one seemed very fitting for winter. And then I got a more brightly colored floral one that I'll probably bust out in the spring or summer. And Lindock pouches are my favorite. I'm probably going to do a favorites video, and these are going to be in there because I love everything about them. I love the size of these. I love the quality of construction. I love that she repurposes old linens and other materials. Like this was obviously like, it feels like a couch. It looks like a couch that I grew up with. So I really love that. And I still keep the same things in here as I always have. These Crayola Supertips, I color code when I use my homeschooling planner in here by subject. So each color represents a subject. I have these, which I also use in my homeschooling planner. I use these and write the date on them to separate out my entries by date. And I write on these with my Sharpie retractable, like ultra fine pen here. And, you know, I just have random stuff, Post-it notes, the sticky notes that I use in my YouTube planner. And I even have like some like this from Post-it that I use in there. I have a bunch of like sticky note type things, so I'm just trying to use those up. And they work really well in the monthly spread for YouTube. Yeah, so yeah, I've just got like so many. This can hold so much for being such a like small pouch. I have my Uniball Signo RT1 in the 0.5. This is like permanent, waterproof, archival ink. And I base everything I write in here, I write with this pen because everything in here is pretty important and I don't want to risk it fading or washing away if it gets wet or anything like that. So this pen is what I use in here for sure. And I have this like vintage Schaefer mechanical pencil. It came free with an order, and so did the eraser. And sometimes I like to scribble things out in pencil if I don't want it permanent yet. So I kind of have those there. And I haven't used this in a minute. I kind of forgot this was in here. It's kind of buried, but I was using this to grade my kids' like quizzes and things. So I'll have to remember to use that. And then I have a random, it's like so beat up. I think this is like a Tombow twin tone or something. I'm not sure. But I used this to draw out the grids when I made my monthly spreads because I love that this is a soft gray. So when I write in my black pen, my writing and the things that I write in there really pop and don't get lost in the grids. So that is everything. That's my mega planner, and those are the little bit of changes that I've made that I'll be taking into 2021. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.